Hey guys, it's Troy here, and today we have a very special guest, someone who's never been on the channel before. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey guys, my name's Nick. I'm Troy's brother, and I work in the video game industry doing environment art for video game levels, and I'm currently learning level design as well.
Yep, and Nick's never been in a video. However, he has been involved in the channel in the past. If you guys remember Mario Kart 8 at E3, I had some early access to playing the game the day it got announced, and that's because Nick actually got me into E3, even though it was, you had to be in the industry to go. It wasn't open to the public, and we went there, we played Mario Kart 8, Super Mario 3D World, and Nick actually recorded me playing the games, and one of those videos has over 800,000 views right now, which is so crazy. And I remember the people at Nintendo were trying to tell you to put down the camera, and you just are like, oh, okay. And then the second they went away, you just put it back up. And we did that multiple times.
Yeah, I'm sorry for any of you that had to watch that video and see all the shaky cam footage. That was my fault. I'm an amateur cameraman, but we did our best.
Hey, it got the job done. That was a really cool experience, too. But yeah, guys, I know a lot of you are interested in becoming video game or interested in the video game industry and what it's about. We all play games, and making them is like taking it to a new level. So anyway, I went to Twitter and I asked you guys what questions you'd want to ask my brother, who has been in the industry for a while now. And you guys had some great ones. We're going to answer a lot of them today. And I might have to reward some of them because of the companies he works for, and there's some things he's not allowed to answer. So if I reward it, that's why. But yeah, I'm still a little bit sick from the the fever and the sore throat, so good thing Nick will be doing most of the talking in this video. You guys will get to know him better. And without further ado, the first question is by Jacob J. Cookie. What inspired you to work in the field of 3D graphic design?
Yeah, that's a good question. I will say I had no idea that I could work as a 3D video game artist. It wasn't on my radar whatsoever. So all through elementary, junior high, high school, I was really just trying to figure out what would inspire me or what I would want to do in college and for the rest of my life. And originally I kind of gravitated towards music, and so that led me down the path of wanting to learn how to record sound and music. So I went away to a college up in San Francisco, and funny thing is I ended up making most of my friends were in the 3D program, going to into graphic design. Actually, that's 2D graphic design and 3D art. And so it kind of just opened my eyes to another path I could take, and I switched majors, and it turned out to be the right decision. I love what I do.
Absolutely. J Wolf says, how many 3D artists would work on a AAA game, and any good tips for texturing models better, painting and creating textures from scratch?
Yeah, so I think what he means by AAA game is just a really high-end, I guess like a big budget game, something like that you see. Party. Yeah, something you see on a commercial on YouTube, or anything that is considered like the highest of quality. And those games, they vary so much. Sometimes there might be like up to 1,000 people that work on a game. Only a fraction of those are the artists, the 3D artists. But typically the games I've worked on, there's anywhere between 10 and 30 3D artists. That includes character artists, environment artists, prop artists, and UI or user interface artists. But in some of the bigger companies like Blizzard or Bungie, there's a handful of them. They can have huge teams of people. Oh, and so it would just blow your mind to find out how many people actually work on those games.
I bet, yeah. Akihiko OW, or Hayden, says, what was your favorite parts on working, or with working video games in general?
Sure.
What's your favorite part of the process for working on a game?
Yeah, I really, since I've primarily been focusing on doing 3D art, I really love the process and the challenge of when I get a concept drawing, which is basically, we have artists that draw 2D images, just really inspiring like paintings and sketches that then we have to translate into a 3D model or a 3D environment. And I think the funnest part is when the level designer gives you this really blocky, ugly looking level that's fun to play, but you really have to use your imagination when you play it. And then taking that 2D drawing and then finding a way to marry it with that 3D blocky level and turn it into the final art. It's
like a total redesign.
Yeah, it's a really big undertaking, but it's so gratifying when it's done. But it's a ton of work. So that makes it even better when it's
really
all done. You
satisfying,
just relax and like sit back and yes.
Yeah. GD Jixon asked, what's your favorite game that you've worked on?
Yeah, I've worked on a handful of games and even some games that never got released, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
But that's also part of working in the game industry. Any of you out there who are interested in ever working in video games, whether it's programming, game design, animation, art, and the various other disciplines out there like quality assurance and production, one thing to keep in mind is it's a very competitive industry. And sometimes you'll love a game so much and the project might get canceled. So I've definitely worked on a game in the last few years that didn't get released. And I was very attached to it, and it was heartbreaking. So I can't really talk about that game. But yeah, it was really special, and it's unfortunate that no one will ever get to play it outside of the company that I worked at, just briefly testing it there. But the last two projects I've worked on have been very rewarding, and the quality bar, the visual quality bar and the gameplay quality bar were really high as far as the polish and the feel, and those were really good challenges for me, and it really forced me to have to grow and improve constantly. And so like that, I started 3 or so years ago on those projects, and now I feel like a different person in terms of my professional skills. So I know I've grown a lot. And so those would probably be my two favorites, because they
two most recent.
Yeah, they pushed me the most to improve. You always want to put yourself in situations where you're working on stuff that makes you a little uncomfortable, things you haven't exactly done before, because that's how you grow, is really by being challenged.
And MM456 just wants to know what your favorite Mario Kart game is.
Oh, well...
Which ones have you played, first of all? Because you haven't played too many of them, I know that.
Yeah, I'm sorry... Yeah. All you that are listening are probably gonna think I'm really old, but so
there's a bit of an age gap between us.
Yeah, it's easy for me to answer which one's my favorite. But of the games that you want a list of the games I've played? Of course, Mario Kart Wii. We did play Mario Kart. Was it 8 at E3?
Yeah,
that was
the demo.
Mario Kart 8, the demo. That's right. Yeah. I played Mario Kart Double Dash. I played, of course, the original Mario Kart, which. Yes. You'll hear more
Super
about
Mario
in a minute.
Kart.
Super Mario Kart.
And then obviously GBA, Super Circuit.
Exactly.
And that's it, I think, right? You never played DS or 7.
Yeah, I may have briefly picked them up here and there, and that kind of thing.
When did you play Mario Kart Wii? Do you remember?
Just when coming to visit here.
Yeah, just I forced you to play it a couple times.
Yeah, I've played with you a handful of times, but I'm terrible. But I still enjoy it. I mean, I'm better than our dad or whatever.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But yeah. I'm
your favorite one though?
My favorite one. I mean, it's pretty easy. I think a lot of times it happens. It's the first Mario Kart, Super Mario Kart. Yeah. The first game you play in any series, I think you just grow an attachment to it, because that's your first experience. That's kind of the magic that starts that that interest, and it keeps you going. So every Mario Kart that comes out, there's something you're curious about it. You want to just keep building on that experience. You're trying to recapture that feeling you had the first time. So Super Mario Kart for sure. I loved it because it was, at the time, I'd never played a racing game like that, especially on a console, where you could play multiplayer, split screen. But I also really liked it because you could see the track below. So if you play single player, you could see the track and all the little kind of avatars of everybody driving around, and it was kind of scary. You might be in the lead, but you could see how close the guy was behind you. Yeah,
the mini map was right there.
Yeah, and I was never any good with using the rear view camera. I think you could hit one of the bumper buttons at the top of the Super Nintendo controller to look back, but I always looked at the little mini map.
Yeah,
But
Nick and I grew up playing Super Nintendo and then PS2 after that. Those were the two
Yeah.
systems we played games
Definitely.
together. Yeah.
But yeah, Super Mario Kart was awesome because the characters were really simple and it was really straightforward. It's like, okay, if you're a brand new player, play as Koopa Troopa or Toad because they've got really good acceleration and turning. And then if you're like, you want all around and guys that could like kind of hold their own, get Mario or Luigi.
Yeah.
If you want like fast acceleration because you keep hitting stuff, it's like, okay, you play Peach or Yoshi. And then when you're getting really comfortable with the game and you want to see how fast can I, beat this course, and you're willing to go like through the pains of getting I don't know, getting burned a handful of times. Whenever you bump into things, basically, Bowser and Donkey Kong just punish you. But
was it Donkey Kong Jr. in that game or something?
Yeah, Donkey Kong Jr. or Bowser. They punish you if you hit stuff, but if you can get through the course cleanly, I mean, those are the guys to use because you just dominate.
Yeah, I know for sure. Super Circuit had the exact same style to it, where they had stat lines, and I think Mario Kart 64 also.
Yeah.
Which you never played that one, did you?
I might have. Again, like I've
never
played
had
so many
N64.
Mario Karts, but just randomly here and there at friends' houses because
Gotcha.
I haven't kept up with the Nintendo consoles over the years. But it's not that I don't want them; it's just more time. Gotta pick and choose. So, I kind of want to get a Switch now that I've
because it's portable, huh? That's it's like an iPad. It'd be good for your two kids,
Yeah, that's the thing, You got two kids, you gotta talk to the wife and say like, hey, the kids, they need to learn games, and this console is very compact and safe. They can't hurt each other, and like, it can't fall off the TV stand and hit him in the head. So it's like maybe somehow I can work it in, like convince her to.
Well, they already love the iPad, so it wouldn't be too much of a change.
There you go. Yeah, there's plenty of little ways to justify it. So
there you go. This one's a real simple question by Adam. What do you put in the bowl first, the milk or the cereal, Nick?
Oh, I think pretty much my entire life is always the cereal. I don't know why.
Who puts the milk in?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's like that's what you learn or that's just what most people.
I feel like it's just gonna splash if you put the milk in and then the cereal, right? Like.
But I know when I was younger, there was times where like I wasn't comfortable with how much milk I should put in the bowl. Like I wasn't quite sure. So sometimes I would put too much, and then there'd be a lot of milk left over, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I totally want more cereal, so I just dump more on top and kind of mix it in. So there are occasions where there could be milk first, but it's usually for round two. Yeah.
Okay, next question by Adrian. PC or console? Favorite games on which ever of all time?
Yeah, that's a really tough
let's tackle
question.
console first, because I know you've played a lot of PC games, so console might be easier for you to answer.
Yeah, but I think his question.
First is which one do you prefer, PC or console?
Okay, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I think the first part. Okay, I would say, well, these days console, but like when I was really little, when I was about 5 years old, I got a regular Nintendo, the NES, the original NES, back in like 1985. And so I was like hardcore console player for many years. After that, NES and then Super Nintendo. But then for a while in the middle years, I had the PlayStation 2 and all that, but I would say I was more of a PC player because at that time I was getting really interested in like building my own computer and buying PC games and this and that. So for many years PC, and because I work on a PC, I often test and play games on a PC. But when I go home now, I like to sit down in front of the couch on like a comfortable couch or in a comfortable couch or like a beanbag or something
in front of the TV.
Yeah, just in front of the TV, just relax. I said in front of a beanbag. Well, it's late, so give me some.
It's all good.
But yeah, I like the comfort of just sitting down in front of the TV now, and also I think it's also getting comfortable with playing with the controller.
So different stages in your life, different answer.
It also depends on the game I'm playing, but right now it's definitely console. And then PS4 is what I usually play.
Favorite game on console all time?
All time, again, I would have to say, so favorite for me is what kind of brings up the most memories and what I'm the most attached to.
Sure.
Like if I had that game in my hand and the house was burning, or I should say if I had a box of games, which game would I grab if the house was burning and I could only take one? That would definitely be Zelda, the original, The Legend of Zelda.
The golden cartridge, right?
I have it, yeah.
I know you have it. I remember it. Yeah.
I got it, I think it was 85 or 86, but it was a gift, and I was really young. I was
How
5 or
old?
6 years
Oh
old.
my God.
And I didn't even know what it was. I remember I opened the cartridge, or I opened the gift, and I see, okay, Zelda. What is this? I didn't even know what it was, because back then there was no internet. I didn't have some gaming magazine. I didn't know what this was. I had no idea this game was coming out, or what it was about. So I open up the box and I pull it out, and there's this gold plated cartridge. And when you're little, you just believe it's actually made of gold, or there's real gold paint or something.
Yeah.
And I remember also just like putting it into the Nintendo, turning on the power, and then there's like the music, the loading screen, just the music loops over and over.
It's
There's
great
like this
music.
waterfall.
Iconic.
Yeah, and I remember just having this strange feeling in my stomach, like, okay, this is gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I've never felt this way before, but I like it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
let's do this. And then when it starts up and you're just Link standing on the screen, you have no sword, you've got no shield, and all you see is in the upper left corner this black box. And you walk into it, and there's this old man there with a beard and no hair, and he doesn't say anything. You walk up to him, and he hands you a sword, and you're just like, yes, thank you. Like, this is something that I'm never gonna forget. And I remember that moment, and I was blown away.
86 was the year?
It was right when it came out. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was complete luck. Like, I just got it as a gift, and
back then it
fell
probably
in my
wasn't
lap,
that
basically.
expensive. Now it's got to be quite a bit,
It might be worth money, but I don't care what it's
You're not
what
gonna
it's worth
sell it,
anyway. Yeah, it's not worth the money to me. I'm
Absolutely.
never getting rid of it.
And then console. You might not be able to answer the question. I'm not sure.
What's that? Oh, that was console.
Sorry. PC. That's what I meant.
PC.
Favorite PC game of all time.
All right, so I would say for PC, that's also a really tricky one, because I've played so many PC games, and I've fallen in love and become addicted to so many. So I don't want
Rocket League right now is the new craze.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I would say recently Rocket League. All time from when I was like much younger, I would say Civilization, the original Civilization 1. I got so addicted to that game that I would have, a weekend off of school and have no homework, and I would literally play Saturday and Sunday, like all day, just playing that game.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
ridiculous. Meaning,
That's awesome.
like, I would start a new character or a new civilization and go all the way through history, just, I don't even know how many hours I played over the weekend, but I would just binge play that game until I conquered every civilization. I never tried to get to space. Like, you could win by either getting into space first or to basically destroy every other civilization. But I would always start out with the intention of being nice to everybody. I'm like, what? This time I'm gonna make diplomacy and make friends with all the other civilizations, and we're gonna grow together. But I'm just gonna grow a little bit faster than them and get to space, and and say sorry. We're friends and all, but like, I'm gonna win.
I've never played it, so I have absolutely no clue.
Well, it's an awesome game, but the thing is eventually guys would start picking fights with me, and I'm like, okay, if that's how it's gonna go, we're gonna fight, and eventually I would end up destroying every other civilization. So I would feel bad, but I'm like, hey, someone's got to win, and it's gonna be me. But now, Rocket League for sure, just because I love the simplicity of it. You have these 5-minute matches. It's the most. It's kind of a weird combination.
It's a great game to play with friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly. It's a.
Guess
it's a good
what he got me
social
for
game.
Christmas?
Yeah, you'll have to tell me how you like it.
Yeah.
But I love it because it's just a weird combination that works. It's basically remote control cars playing soccer.
Yeah.
It sounds
stupid.
weird, but they execute it so well, and it's very well polished. It just has a nice responsive feel to it, similar to Mario Kart. The cars have good handling, but it's so gratifying when you start to get the feel for it, like boosting and flying, and even playing goalie. It feels really good, when you block somebody's
so hard
shot.
to block stuff.
Yeah,
I
well,
played a little
you'll get
bit.
better at it,
Yeah.
and it'll get a lot easier. Just like when you first started playing Mario Kart. I mean, it was probably pretty tough when you
Yeah,
first started.
sure.
Eventually, you figure it out. But yeah, that game, I put in a lot of hours, And, like I said, 5-minute matches, you can just jump in, jump out, even though you typically can't get away from the game without playing, between 4 and 6 matches. So you say 5-minute matches, it ends up turning into like, an hour or more.
Absolutely.
Playing that game. But yeah, it's great.
All right, Forenzao, or someone, says, favorite, or where would you go if you can go anywhere in the world? What's your dream vacation?
Dream vacation? Well, I would say probably the southernmost, large island in Japan. It's called Hokkaido. I've always wanted to go up there because it's kind of got a similar climate to Canada, where there's a lot of snow throughout the year, like I think 6 to 8 months out of the year. But I really want to go there with my wife because she loves seafood, and apparently that area of Japan has some of the best.
It's the southernmost
seafood.
island?
Yeah, the very.
And it gets snow?
Sorry,
wow.
Did I say southern?
You mean northern?
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, I know. I know enough about geography where I'm just like, I'm pretty sure you mean northern.
I love how I say southernmost, but
Yeah.
I'm saying Canada.
Yeah. No, that's why I like.
Yeah.
That.
Well, there you go. So there's the second
yeah.
time I'm showing both my
It's
age
okay.
and how late it is. So yes, northernmost
Yeah.
island in Japan, Hokkaido. So yeah, I hear they have amazing seafood, and
You've
even
never
though
been there, have you?
I've never been there,
Yeah.
and I'm not even into seafood so much, but she is, and I've heard it's just beautiful up there. So I'd definitely like to take a vacation there at some point.
Yeah. When I went to Japan, I never went above Tokyo, I don't think.
Yeah, just go
Yeah.
straight up from there, and you'll hit Hokkaido basically. But
Gotcha.
you got to go quite a ways.
All right. Elro says, do you view games differently after you start developing them? I'm learning code in school and I have interest in game design. Would love to understand more about how developers view games.
Yeah, so I think it's impossible not to view games differently. Just like if you're making movies, or you're interested in becoming a filmmaker, you're going to view films differently. I think I still appreciate them and enjoy them just as much as I did before I started making games as a profession. But I think I view them differently in that aside from just being entertained, I also study them and I use them as a form of research. So even if, say, a game isn't that great, there's still something you can learn from it. You might learn, don't do this particular thing because it's really frustrating. And even in games that maybe people don't view as being the best experience from beginning to end, there's usually always something that is done well or something that you can take away from it and try and use in your own way, in something that you're working on, something that you can be inspired by. So yeah, I really try to focus on like, hey, what the positive things, what worked, what's inspiring, how can this influence me, but also what things did I not like? What things should I avoid doing? And having that firsthand experience of playing the game is invaluable. If you just watch Let's Play videos on YouTube, you can't always get the same experience as actually having that hands-on. But I do also watch Let's Plays as well. Sometimes I'll play something and then I'll watch somebody else play the same thing on YouTube and I'll see how they experience it. And I think that's also really valuable, especially if you're looking to get into making games. You want to get as much feedback and as many perspectives as possible because there are a lot of different types of people out there, and you gotta consider that.
Yeah, for sure. Flowing Flapjack wants to know what's it like converting a game from console or PC to the Nintendo Switch? What's that process like?
Yeah, that's a great question. Not to go into too many specifics about what I've been working on recently, but the last couple projects I've been a part of have had that kind of conversion process take place recently, or might even be in the middle of doing that now. And pretty much how that works at the moment is typically a studio will make a game for, say, PS4, Xbox One, or PC, and if then they decide they want to bring it over to Switch, or they make a deal with Nintendo, there's typically a third-party company, like an additional company outside of them that specializes in that kind of optimization process, because you really need people that know what they're doing to get the most out of the Switch. They need to understand the Switch, and they also need to understand the version that they're getting from PC or PS4. So you send that off to kind of a specialty studio, and you often support them. There might be people at the original studio that made the game that are helping them or explaining certain things, or might visit their studio to kind of be there as a point person. But typically the original studio that created the game for PS4 or Xbox does not do the conversion unless it was originally part of the plan when they started making the game.
Yeah.
And with the last couple games I worked on, it wasn't the original plan, so that was an after the launch of the game that process took place by that third-party studio. So
Absolutely.
Long answer. Maybe things will be different in the future, but I know it's a lot of work, and fortunately I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
So.
All right, Nick, we got 2 more questions. This one's a little more lighthearted. Pineapple on pizza? ?
Yeah.
By Kiwi.
That's a good question. So when I was growing up, I was really picky, and I would only eat cheese pizza or pepperoni pizza. But our older brother, he was really into pepperoni and pineapple, and I used to think that was crazy. And then one day, I was really hungry, and he had some slices of pepperoni and pineapple left over. It was kind of the same way I got myself to eat like tomatoes and onions and lettuce on hamburgers. I was just so starving that I didn't care that there was pineapple on the pizza, and so I just ate it. So yeah, then I found out, hey, it wasn't so bad, or maybe my taste buds had developed. So yeah, again, a really long answer to a simple question. Pineapple on pizza? Yes, please.
I like to get pepperoni and pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Pepperoni and pineapple. I also like Canadian bacon and pineapple, like the Hawaiian style pizza.
Yeah.
So
not bad.
But yeah, I'm all about it.
For sure. All right, the last question by Andrew is, what's your favorite memory with Troy, with me, and what video game did you enjoy playing with him most?
Yeah, I have a lot of memories with Troy. Not to go into detail, there was one time we were at Blockbuster Video, and I threatened to throw him in the trunk on the way home because he kept wanting to get like.
I got you grounded for that because I told on you.
You wanted to get like a Pokemon video or something,
and it was like $4, and you're like, no.
Yeah, yeah. The bright side is eventually we did connect on Pokemon in a positive way, and I would say favorite memory is probably, I forget how old you were, but we have some pictures up on the wall.
I was 6 or 7.
Yeah, and we took a big family road trip to go up to the mountains and stay at some cabin or hotel up in the woods. And I think along the way, pretty much the entire trip there and back, and even some at the lake while we were fishing. Even I think we had like the Game Boy on the dock.
Game Boy Color. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Game Boy Color, and we were playing Pokemon Red.
Yeah.
As far as I remember, and it was really cool. It was the first Pokemon game I'd ever played.
It's the first version game they ever made.
Yeah, Troy was already an expert, and so he coached me along the way. But the cool thing was I made the right decision by choosing Charmander from the beginning, which I didn't know that that's what he wanted me to choose. But that, to me, like, I saw this dinosaur dude that looked kind of like a T-Rex, and he had fire, and I was like, yeah, that's the obvious choice, you know. And we amassed a pretty good army, I would say. We pretty much dominated on the later part of the game.
I had beaten this game about 100 times by the time I taught you it, because I used to beat it every 2 days. And I would beat it almost in the exact same way every time. I never tried to catch every Pokemon. I had like this process, and I taught you the process. Do you remember what your team was? Because I know my team every time I play it.
Yeah, so I know we had Charmander, obviously. And
Charizard by the time the game
he kept
ended.
evolving, and then he just destroyed. But then we got, let's see, there was the guy that dug underground.
Doug Trio.
Yeah, Doug Trio.
Catch him in the cave, overpowered, level 30, when you guys aren't even level 25 yet.
I know. He was one of my
really
main
good
guys at the end. We had the guy that used the ice attacks or something. The snow or ice.
The bird, right?
Yeah, the
Articuno.
bird. Articuno.
Blizzard and Ice Beam.
Yes. The yellow bird.
Zapdos.
Zapdos, yeah.
Yeah.
Zapdos and
Thunder over and over.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I mean, there was like 4 or 5 guys. We would just roll anybody.
Yeah, the Elite Four at the end of the game. Yeah.
And then one of the Mews, I think it was Mewtwo.
Mewtwo after we beat the game.
Did he have like something with his brain? Like he did like an attack. Psychic attack. Yes. Yeah. I just remember that would.
That was once you beat the game. That was the final reward, level 70.
Okay.
Do you remember Nidoking at all? I like to get him.
It sounds really familiar. I
Yeah.
probably would recognize it if I
And
saw
then
it.
Snorlax sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the guy. Is he always like kind of laying on his back or sleeping
Yeah.
or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to wake him up with
Yeah.
the Poke Flute. Yeah.
There may be one or two I'm forgetting, but
Uh-huh.
that was the majority of the roster right there. It was an awesome experience.
What I like to do is I like to only catch 3 or 4, raise 3 or 4, and at the end of the game get the 2 birds already level 50, and then
nice.
the whole team's real strong, and then just
Yeah.
power through the Elite Four. Zapdos on Lorelei, Articuno on Bruno, and then Agatha you can use anybody because ghost types are a little tricky. And then against Lance, Dragon, so you have to use the ice. And then Gary, the final boss, is your rival, and you could use anyone because he's got a very mixed team. But yeah, no. And then you just stock up on revives and full restores and stuff. That was my favorite game when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you definitely coached me in the right direction because I felt pretty overpowered by the end. I'm just like, wow,
Yeah.
this is this is awesome.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that is it for the questions. I hope you guys enjoyed having Nick on the channel. This was a real treat. Thank you for doing this, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. In the future, yeah, if you want to do it again, or if there are other questions that pop up, let me know, and something in
Yeah.
the comments. I'd be happy to send you an answer, and you can always get back to them.
Absolutely. Maybe next time we'll have yourself maybe embarrass yourself in a Mario Kart video.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure they'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
absolutely. That's a plan for next time. for
Yeah,
sure.
so next time you visit, we'll try to do a Mario Kart video. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed. And is there any website you want to plug real quick to have them check out? Like anything related to 3D design or
That's a good
social
question.
media? I know you're not
no,
much of a
I'm-
social media guy.
Yeah, I don't really have any like good social media way of getting a hold of me or anything, or anything interesting if you found me, say, somewhere on some social media site. But nothing specific. I would say, though, that anybody that is interested in 3D art or even just getting into making video games, is designing games or programming, before you jump in and sign up for some expensive school or program, try and really seek out resources online. Look through tutorials on YouTube and just search the internet for a lot of free information out there. You really are living in a time where you're very fortunate. There's a lot of free stuff out there that can get you ahead and get you pointed in the right direction. And I didn't have those luxuries when I was that age, getting into it. So you got to take advantage of that. It's a really, it's
new
crazy
era,
not
yeah.
to if you have an internet connection.
and you're
Take
interested
advantage
in
of what's
it.
out there.
Absolutely. All right, that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you later. Peace.